Here's the summary of the methodology. Throughout the day and throughout the week, I noticed situations where my reaction could have been better. And that's the case, right? And then I note down these situations on my phone or in my diary. Once in a while, let's say once in a few weeks, I take time to structure these notes and convert them to cards. Let's say it's a weekend morning after I did my sports, feeling good, getting a cup of coffee, and structuring my notes. So I'm defining a better reaction to the situation that I was not completely happy about, and that the situation that I logged. I define the reaction on multiple levels. I answer the questions: what thoughts do I want to have as a reaction? That's the T. What past experiences I want to get activated? P. What values do I want to get activated? R. What emotions do I want to get activated? So actually values are V. Roles are. What emotions do I want to get activated? E. What actions do I want to take in that specific moment? A. And what feedback do I want to give myself for that situation? That's the F. Then I train these cards on regular basis. That's a separate part of the process. Same way I learn words of a foreign language. So the next time the situation appears, I have already trained the better reaction. That's it. After I train the situation on my cards using some digital cards tool, next time I'm in the same situation, I'm experiencing something similar, my reaction is already a bit different. So the card's situation and the card's reaction. There's two sides of the same card, and these should be not on paper but digital cards. Let me show this on a timeline. So, starting point is some situation takes place, and the way I'm reacting towards that situation is not the way I would like it to be. So some other situation happens then, completely different, and again I'm not very happy with the way I'm reacting to that situation. I'm taking a note, let's say in the evening. Next situation happens some other day, and once again I am not happy with it, and then I'm taking a note somewhere in the evening. At some point of time, let's say in the end of the week, on the weekend, I'm taking some time, let's say 2 hours, and I'm logging it as cards. I'm defining the reactions that I would like to have. That's a separate event. Throughout the upcoming months, throughout the week, I'm at some point of time, when I do have time, I'm training these cards that I defined. So let's say it's every evening before going to bed, I'm training these cards. So every morning or after lunch, during the lunch break, I'm training the cards. Day one, I trained it. Then after a few days pause, once again, I trained these cards. Again, I trained these cards. In between, some other situations happen, and even if I train these cards, maybe in the same situation, again, I reacted not the way I wanted to react. However, with time, with training, in the real life, the reaction changes towards something that I'm more happy with. And that's the process of change. So training the cards, and then while training, when these situations happen in real life, the reaction changes, and I'm happier with the reaction that I am having. There's also one additional circle here on this chart, on this picture. That means that every time I'm training the cards, I might have some better ideas how to react. And while training these cards, I can always go into the edit mode and adjust the card a bit. So, for example, specify a bit better what kind of thoughts do I would like to have, what kind of past experiences do I want to get activated, what emotions do I want to get activated, and what actions do I want to take. That's the whole process on the cards. So now there are a few questions that can arise throughout this process. First, what is the situation? What is the stimuli? How do we define it? There's a separate video about that. Second, how do I log these situations? How detailed should be my log? In essence, that should not be very complex. It's just some specific situation that you can remember when you are creating the cards. 3. What do we mean by reaction on the level of thoughts, past experiences, roles, values, emotions, and actions? What exactly, basically, what do I specifically write in my past experience line or my roles line when I'm defining my reaction? There's also a separate video about that, and there's many examples. Training. How does the training look like? Do I need to simulate the situation, relieve it or not? There's also a video about that, but in basically with an example how these cards can be trained. But in essence, it's not about relieving the situation. It's about rehearsing what do you want to do when this situation happens. These points are addressed in other videos. So finally, quick clarifications about some confusion that may arise. First, there's no need to take notes or pull out cards in the situation itself. You know, when you are, let's say, seeing a huge bucket of ice cream that you want to eat right away, it's not the time for you to switch into the slow thinking, because that's exactly where it usually doesn't happen, and that's not the time for you to pull out the phone and train any kind of cards or doing anything like this. No, the situation happens as it like you perform in this situation at your best to the extent it's possible for you. Second point, the cards is not a diary. It's not a process. It's not a progress tracker. It's not a goal-setting tool. Nothing like that. The cards just serve one very simple purpose. The cards specify a reaction that I want to have to a very specific situation. It's nothing else. Next point. Each card specifies a very specific situation. So let me even read it once again. Each card specifies a very specific situation. Typically, a card is not an abstract goal or concept. If you create a card with a stimulus specified as I want to have a more healthy diet and eat less cake, this is wrongly defined stimuli. This is just an abstract thought. This is a useless card, because the stimulus should specify a very specific situation. For example, I'm entering Walmart to buy groceries during my regular Saturday shopping trip. This is a very specific situation. What reaction do you want to have in this very specific situation of the level of thoughts? And your reaction, potentially the one that you would like to have, is I want to eat healthier. There are some and then you want other levels of the reaction to get triggered in that moment. So your actions are the ones that you actually would like to take. The next point is, yes, it's a tricky part of this whole exercise to answer the question, what do I really want, and how do I really want to react, and who really wants to react in this situation? Which part of me should I satisfy? It's a thoughtful choice that should be made at some point of time. Final point, to give an example, right? Returning to this goal, I want to eat healthier. So there are a lot of tools about goal settings. The point here is now you want to connect this abstract goal to some very specific situations in your life, like entering the grocery store, starting to cook, pulling up your pan to cook something for yourself, or sitting at the table, taking the spoon in your hand and starting eating. These are very specific situations for which you want to define the reactions that will bring you closer to your goal.